Good evening, I'm Lucy Noland.
And I'm Greg Hurst. We are beginning tonight with an important investigative series. The question, just how safe is our drinking water?
What we've uncovered shocked even us and left us with a ton of questions, so we started digging.
It took months, but we examined thousands of state water quality tests.
And Chief I-Team reporter Mark Greenblatt discovered, believe it or not, radiation in many local water systems. Mark?
Greg, Lucy, every day we're exposed to radiation, whether it's from sunlight or other natural sources. And health scientists say that's usually okay. The problem, they say, is when you drink it, taking it inside your body, where it can do real harm.
It's not acceptable.
Felicia Byford.
This is really disturbing.
And neighbor Corrine Tolbert.
This is horrific, really.
Have just learned they have a serious problem.
And I mean, you're talking about mutation and radiation.
That's right, radiation in the water their kids are playing in and that they've been drinking. All supplied by their water provider, Municipal Utility District number 105. Radiation in amounts over recommended health standards, and in recent times, even over federal legal limits.
Do you feel like you've been adequately informed?
No.
But for the scientists at this state lab, it's no surprise at all. Because after testing the water from communities in Harris County and across the state, they know that radioactive water isn't just in Corrine and Felicia's neighborhood, but in other Harris County community water systems and throughout Texas. And one type of radiation that keeps turning up, it's called the alpha particle.
The alpha particle, this is the 800-pound gorilla of radioactive particles.
He's Dr. David Ozanoff, a nationally known expert on drinking water and health, based out of Boston University's School of Public Health.
You know, it can't penetrate very far, but when it hits something, it does a ferocious amount of damage.
And he says drinking water with alpha is a real risk.
If I were to drink it, then many parts of your body are within knife-wielding distance of an alpha particle.
And Ozanoff says that can damage your DNA. And drink enough of them over a period of years, and your risk goes up for
the disease that we call cancer.
In fact, even the EPA says a single alpha passing through a cell is sufficient to induce a mutational event, which is why Ozanoff and other scientists recommend 0 alpha in your water.
Because all you need is one cell to go bad.
Which brings us back to Mud 105. You see, for years, the state's own tests show its drinking water had significant amounts of radioactive alpha particles, with enough in 2008 and 2009 to violate the EPA's federal legal limit, something the Mud mentioned in these 2 annual water quality reports as a problem with alpha emitters. But our mothers say not good enough.
Screw the fine print. Something this serious, I don't care. It should be mandatory that everybody in this district knows what's going on.
And we asked Professor Ozanoff.
Do you think most people have any idea what alpha activity really means?
I'm confident they don't.
I don't think there's reason for panic.
Taylor Goodall is Mud 105's lawyer.
Do you think the average Joe knows that there's radiation in your water?
Well, I can't necessarily speak for the average Joe, but I know that we've sent out mailers.
Mailers like this one that disclose the radiation problem, but also told residents that it's not an emergency and you don't have to switch water supplies. Why not? Goodall says Mud 105 reduced pumping water from its most radioactive well, but admits it has not been taken offline completely and won't be until the Mud can switch entirely to surface water, which might take years.
Scientists would say exposure to this amount of radiation over a number of years leads to an increased risk of cancer in your community. Does that concern you?
Any issues of public health do concern me, but what I'm saying is...
But you're saying there's no reason to panic.
There isn't a reason to panic. I'm firm in my belief that there's not a reason to panic.
To which one of our mothers had an interesting response.
You come live here, you come drink this water, and then you tell me how you feel in 2 years.
But Mud 105 isn't alone. All over Harris County, state water tests show alpha particles in Municipal Utility District 238, Mud 23, the city of Katy, and hundreds of others, like the suburban mobile home park, with enough alpha particle radiation in its well water to violate the law 3 years in a row. And yet the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, or TCEQ, has allowed that water well to remain in use for years.
TCEQ is always first for protecting human health.
TCEQ's Linda Brookins oversees water safety and supply for the entire state of Texas. She says the chance of getting cancer from alpha radiation is very unlikely.
This is a naturally occurring element.
I understand it's a naturally occurring element, but just because it's naturally occurring doesn't necessarily mean that it's not going to hurt you.
We asked her about something else we uncovered.
What would you tell me if I have talked to numerous scientists across the nation that would say that what TCEQ did was bad science?
Well, I guess I have no comment on that.
But you'll probably be talking with plenty of comments tomorrow night at 10 when in part 2 of our series we reveal how state officials may have been part of what one expert calls a possible cover-up of radiation readings in water all across Texas. Lucy, Greg.
So I'm sitting here, Greg's sitting here, everybody who's watching is going, what about my water supply? How do I find out if my water is safe?
You know what, we've been working very, very hard to answer that question. And if you want to check up on your own water system, we've put together something to help you do just that. Just go to khou.com where you can now look up how much radiation state testing discovered in your water. Just type in the name of your water company and you'll get your info. And join us again tomorrow night at 10 for part 2 of our water quality investigation.
All right, thank you very much, Mark.